Level 1, no power. The most powerful thing your boss will ever do to you costs him nothing and takes 4 seconds. On your first morning, he looks straight at your face and calls you Kevin. Your name is not Kevin. You will spend 22 years and 4 promotions earning the right to be called by your own name. And the morning everyone finally gets it right will be the morning nobody tells you the truth again. But you don't know that yet. Right now you are standing in the lobby holding a visitor badge on a cheap blue lanyard, the kind they laminate while you wait, and that badge blinks red every time you step toward the executive elevator. The man who runs 340 people just renamed you in front of all of them and walked into an elevator you are not allowed to ride. His name is Dale Renner. You learn his in 9 seconds. He will not learn yours for 19 years, so you keep the badge clipped at your sternum, photo facing out, hoping the picture introduces you so you don't have to. You start timing your arrival to 8:14 exactly. Because at 8:14 you ride up alone and don't have to decide whether to say good morning. The reader at the executive floor stays red. You learn the building by which doors stay shut. When Dale walks your aisle, he says good morning to the aisle, never to a face, one greeting hosed across 38 desks at once you count them. 22 words a week, and not one of them is a name. You are not invisible here. Invisible would mean he tried to find you and couldn't. You are the thing the eye crosses on its way to something it already decided to look at. The badge stays red. You stay Kevin, and you do not yet know that the red light is the most honest thing in the building. Level 2, a desk. They give you a chair that leans 11 degrees to the left. A lean you will feel in your lower back for 2 years, and a phone extension that has never once rung. Your signing authority is $0. To expense an $11 parking validation, you need Dale's initials. And Dale initials on Fridays, after 4, so you learn the first real law of low power. The first time you disagree with him in a meeting, he lets you talk for a full 20 minutes. He nods. He says good point, and then he does exactly what he walked in planning to do. Your pushback was free because it changed nothing, and a thing that changes nothing costs nothing to allow. You start to understand that they sold you the right to speak and kept the right to listen. One night at 9:06 you stay late to rebuild a deck that wasn't yours, and Dale passes your desk on his way out and says, "Hey, thanks, champ. Not Kevin this time. Champ, you drive home doing arithmetic nobody asked for. 8 months to graduate from the wrong name to no name at all." The reader is still red. But he slowed down by half a step when he passed your chair, and you noticed, and you hate that you noticed. Level 3, a title. The word senior arrives in front of your job title, and the building quietly rearranges itself around you by a few degrees. Your approval limit is now $2,500. And the first time you sign for something without asking, your hand shakes hard enough that the pen skips. Then one reader turns green, not the executive floor, the supply room, and the back stairwell. But you swipe and the light goes from red to green for the first time in 14 months, and you stand there a second longer than you need to. Dale knows your name now, and he uses it like a tool. He bolts it to the front of every request, your name a little handle screwed onto the side of his ask so it's easier for you to carry, and the agreement gap starts to move. At level 2. 20 minutes of polite resistance before a room turned. At level 3, you time it at 4 minutes, 14 seconds. The room is getting faster, and you tell yourself you've gotten sharper. You have not gotten sharper. The room has gotten quieter, and you can't yet hear the difference between respect and recalibration. They come through the same door, and they are not the same thing. There is a Thursday meeting where a peer says almost exactly what you said last quarter. The same idea in a slightly better suit, and the table turns toward him the way it never once turned toward you. You write the date in the corner of your notepad, March 14th, the way you used to write down Dale's initials. You've started a ledger. You don't know yet what you're counting. You only know the scoreboard has lights on now, and your name is finally on it. Level 4, a team. 6 people report to you, and one of them is a kid named Marcus who sits in a chair that leans 11 degrees to the left, holding a red badge, timing his arrival so he can ride up alone. On a Tuesday, he stays until 9:06 rebuilding a deck that isn't his, and you walk past, and you feel the word rise in your throat. Champ, you catch it behind your teeth. You say, "Good work, Marcus," and you say it to him, to the face, not the aisle. He looks up the way you look up when a light changes. That look costs you nothing. And it is the first thing in 4 years that has felt like it actually belonged to you. You take the team to lunch on your $2,500 limit, and you spend $211 of it. And for 90 minutes, nobody at the table is performing for anybody. Dale is not in this scene. That is the entire point of this scene. You go home and sleep 9 hours for the first time since the lobby. What nobody tells you is that this is the last floor where warmth is free. From here up, every kind thing said to you will also be a thing said about you to someone later, but not today. Today you bought 6 people a sandwich and meant it, and the chair Marcus sits in still leans, and you make a note to order him a new one. You forget by Monday. You will remember at level 6. Level 5, a budget, director. They hand you $1.4 million and change the real figure on the spreadsheet is $1,412,000 and an office with glass walls and your name etched into the door in frosted letters. The etching is the moment the floor tilts under you and you can't say why. Your badge opens 4 floors now. People you have never met know you take your coffee with 2 sugars and no lid, and the agreement gap collapses. You float an idea that is honestly half-formed. More hunch than plan, and the room agrees in 1.2 seconds. No friction, no 4 minutes. You said a thing and it became true in the time it takes to blink, and instead of pride you feel a cold draft come under the door. When you were Kevin, people argued with you because your being wrong was cheap. Now your being wrong is expensive, so they have quietly stopped pointing at it. You are surrounded by yes, and you are alone in your own meeting. And those 2 sentences sit in the same chair without arguing. You start running the stopwatch on purpose. The faster the agreement arrives, the less you can trust it. Every reader you pass goes green now, one after another, like the building is opening its hands for you. And you catch yourself thinking you would trade 3 green lights for 1 person willing to look at your frosted name and say, "No, that's wrong, and here's why." Level 6, a floor, vice president. 140 people answer to you, and Dale Renner answers to you now too. The man who renamed you in the lobby walks into your glass office. And he calls you sir, and he says your name, your real one, slowly and correctly, the way you once said is in 9 seconds flat. The wheel has turned a full half circle, and you wait for it to feel like something. It doesn't, because Dale isn't being warm. Dale is reading the room exactly the way you taught yourself to read it at level 3, and you can see the green light come on behind his eyes when he gets your name right. His correctness is a badge swipe. You realize the thing everyone above you already knew and none of them said out loud. The question never changed from the lobby to this floor. The question aimed at you was always the same: what can you do for me? And the only thing that moved was the vocabulary wrapped around it. They used to ask it by skipping your name. Now they ask it by knowing your coffee order. There is a man on the 3rd floor named Marcus, the kid you took to lunch 2 levels ago, and he sends you an email that opens with 3 warm sentences before the ask. And you can see the exact seam where the warmth was stapled onto the request, because you are the one who invented that staple. You answer him kindly anyway. Then you sign a reorganization that ends 9 jobs in a 40-second meeting. And 1 name on the list reports to Marcus, and you move it to a different column so it doesn't, and you tell yourself that was strategy and not mercy. Your hand does not shake. That is the part you notice on the drive home. The signature that skipped the pen at level 3 is just a muscle. The hand learned before you did. The hand always learns first. And you never did order Marcus that chair. Level 7, equity. They make you an officer of the company, and your pay stops being money and turns into something stranger. 41% of it is now stock you can't sell for 4 years. Which means you no longer have a salary. You have a number you are tethered to. There are documents now, an UNDA for the strategy, an UNDA for the layoffs, and an UNDA that covers the existence of the other 2. And you understand that, at this altitude. Trust isn't a handshake. It is a signature witnessed by a lawyer named Patricia who bills $490 an hour. Your badge opens every floor, including the one that blinked red at you for 9 years. And the first time you ride that elevator and the reader goes green without hesitating, you wait again for the chest thing to happen. There is nothing there, just a hallway, just gray carpet. Just 3 men who go quiet by half a decibel when you step out. You have a driver named Owen who knows your gate code and the name of your daughter's school, and Owen has signed something too. Everyone around you is contractually warm. You command the room completely, and you cannot trust a single sentence spoken inside it, at a dinner where 4 people are laughing at a joke you just made. You catch yourself counting how many of the 4 are on payroll. The answer is 3. You laugh along anyway. The laugh is also a muscle now. Level 8, the chair. You are the boss. The name on the elevator, nobody rides alone. The man in the tall seat, the 4-second renamer with 340 faces sliding under your gaze on a Tuesday morning. Your card opens 41 doors. You can end a division before lunch, and the agreement arrives in under 1 second, so fast. Now it has stopped being a sound at all. A room full of people pre-agreeing with sentences you haven't finished. And here is what nobody at the bottom can picture. The only door you actually want has no reader on it. There is no badge that opens the room where someone tells you the truth for free. Because at this height, nothing is free. Every sentence aimed at you has a price tag turned away from your eyes. You hear that Dale Renner took an early package and bought a hardware store 2 hours north. In a town that isn't on any org chart, people say he looks well. He stands behind a counter and sells folding chairs that lean 11 degrees to the left to strangers who call him by his name. Because his name is painted on the window, and his happiness has nothing to do with you, and that is the part you turn over at 2 in the morning in a house with a gate code that 4 people have signed for. You go down to the lobby one last morning, early 8:14. Out of a habit your body never deleted. There's a new kid at the turnstile first day, holding a visitor badge on a cheap blue lanyard. Photo facing out, and the executive reader blinks red at him the way it once blinked red at you. The turnstile is slow. He has no idea who you are. He has no idea that the building, the readers, the 41 green doors, the whole machine, belongs to the man whose elbow he is steadying as the gate sticks. He just sees someone whose hands are full, so he holds it open. And he says, "Morning, sir." And he means it because he is the only person in this building who wants nothing from you yet. His card opens 0 doors, yours opens 41. He is the one who slept last night. He smiles at you on his way to a desk with a chair that leans, and it costs him nothing, and it is the most expensive thing you have felt in 22 years. If this one stayed with you, leave a thought below. Subscribe for more.